Hey everyone, welcome back. So in this video, we are not going to discuss any concept. Instead, we are going to solve a question in Python. So I'm gonna show you life becomes so easy when math and Python are combined. So without any further ado, let's hop in. So what is the question then? Simply you just have to print this pattern. This is a very simple pattern that you might come across in your programming career. But the catch here is you can only write 2 lines of code and only use one for loop and one print statement. If you think you can do it, give it a shot. Without googling, of course, because Google knows everything. So did you figure out? If not, let's code it. So firstly we will write the logic and then we will reduce the lines of code. Okay, so first things first, I need to take input from the user, how many number of rows he or she wants. So I'll just write a simple prompt here, the number of rows, and of course this input will return me a string, so I have to cast it into an int. Okay, so this is simple. It will just take a number of rows that we want. Okay, then I have to write a for loop. I'll just name the iterating variable to be current row, so it's more clear, and I will run this for loop how many number of times. Of course, if we have, consider this example, if we have 5 rows, we have to run the loop 5 number of times. So I'll just run this loop 5 number of times. I'm starting from 1, and why I'm doing that you will understand in just a minute. And of course I will write till row plus 1. Why? Because the range actually generates numbers from start index to an index minus 1. So this is simple, right? I just took the input from the user and then I wrote a for loop that will run row number of times. Now comes the tricky part. Now we have to see how the content of row, for example, this is a second row, right? How its content is related to the row number. Okay, how this 333, that is a content of third row, is related to the row number. So let's just see this pattern and try to get some insights from it. So if you see here, this 22 or 22 can be written as something like this, right? 11 into 2. I can write something like this, right? This 333 can be written something like this. I can write 11 times 3. Makes sense? I can write this 4 as 4 times 1 into 4. So what I'm doing here is, just understand this point. I'm just multiplying the row number with a digit, this is a digit, which actually contains number of ones same as the row number. Makes sense? For example, consider this last case. I'm actually multiplying 5 with a digit which contains ones. How many ones? Equal to the row number. Therefore, I will multiply 5 with the 5 ones. This is 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll get this thing. So that gotta be a way to get this digit, right? And indeed, there is a way in math, of course. So let me just open up my calculator to make things clear. Here is the calculator. I hope you can see, right? So let me just do some calculations. So let me just divide this 10 by 9. What do we get? Just focus on the integral part, okay? Don't worry about the decimal part. So I get 1, right? Okay. Not much here. Let me divide 100 by 9. What do we get? We get 1 point something, but integral part is 11. That's the catch. Let's divide 1000 by 9. What do we get? We get 3 times 1. Okay, so it is really getting somewhere. Let me divide 10,000 by 9. What do we get? We get actually 4 times 1 and then something as a decimal. So what I'm saying here is, we are getting something like this. If I divide 10 power 1 by 9, by the way, this is a symbol of integral division, I'm getting 1 as an integer, okay? By truncating all the decimal parts, I get 1. If I divide 100 by 9 or 10 square by 9 to say, I get 11. Okay, let's see. If I divide 1000 by 9, that is 10 power 3 by 9 and perform integral division, I get 3 times 1 and then some decimal part, okay? So similarly, for 10 power 4, we'll get 4 times 1, and 10 power 5, we'll get 5 times 1. So what does this tell? So now here this very importantly, okay, this is important thing. So to get the digit actually, what we are doing? We are raising 10 to the power. So basically what we are doing something like this. We are raising 10 to the power of that row basically. We are doing something like this. We are raising 10 to the power of that particular row. For example, this second row we are raising 10 to the power 2, and we are just performing an integral division with 9. So we get the digit. And what I have to do? I just have to multiply this whole thing into that row number. Simple as that. And of course, in Python, if you want to perform power, you have to write this double asterisk. Let me just repeat it again. What we are doing? I'll just raise 10 to the power of the respective row. For example, the second row, this current row will be 2. So while that will be 100. And when I perform a integral division by 9, I'll get 2 times 1. And I'll simply multiply that respective row number. So I'll basically get this thing. If it's a 3, this will be 10 power 3, and integral division gives 3 times 1, and it will be multiplied with 3, so I'll get this result. Simple as that. Let me just write this into a print statement. Okay, so let's just write number of rows. Let me just print it for 4 rows. It works. Let me just run it for 5 rows. Works. Simple. Okay, let me just repeat it again. Okay, so what the inferences we get? We found out that the content of every row is actually the respective row number into a digit. That is a digit. We are multiplying the respective row number with a digit. And that digit actually contains number of ones equal to that respective row. Okay. And what we found out that that digit can be found out very simply. I just have to raise 10 to that particular row number. For example, if it's the third row, I have to raise 10 to that particular row number, perform an integral division by 9, and I get that number. Simple as that. For example, if it's the fifth row, I just have to raise 10 to the power 5, perform integral division, so I'll get that number which contains 5 ones, and I'll simply multiply it with 5 and I get the content. And to reduce the lines of code, I'll just simply include this input here only, okay? And of course, I need to write here +1. Let me just show, okay, let me just get rid of this variable. To reduce the line of code, it was simple, right? I just have to include that input statement in the for loop only. Let me just write 5, and you can see the code compiles, or we can say interprets completely fine. Okay, so it was a easy question, right? You just have to remember that identity. If 10 power n and divide, when we perform integral division with 9, we basically get n ones. Okay, so that's it then. Thank you for watching.